Hello everyone, welcome back, and today we're playing against Jeandor or Jeandor, I'm not sure. We have another Sicilian defense here. Obviously probably the most popular opening, both with white and black in my videos. But today we have a Sicilian e6 rather than d6 like last time. So knight c6, okay. Will he play queen c7 right now? Basically black can choose from queen c7, which is one option, a6, he just did it. Yeah, so out of all options, a6 I think is relatively not so popular because basically white can take on c6, and after pawn takes c6, this move a6 is not really useful. Let's try to do this. I was always curious to play this kind of pawn structure a little bit. So d takes c6 doesn't make too much sense, yeah. Now he will push d5. Obviously black has a strong pawn center. White has some development advantage. Obviously you already castled, you already have two pieces in the game. And as you can see, the move a6 is not really useful in this type of position. Knight f6. Okay, let's play queen e2. Basically white's setup would be something like maybe b3, bishop b2. I really don't like to move bishop b7 though, I must say. I feel like black should focus on developing his king side first, and then maybe at some point you can think about bishop b7 and c5, but not so early on, I would say. But can I really punish this move? It's difficult. Once again, the nature of the position is very close. There are no much of pawn breaks. Pushing f4, f5 is a bit long. It also gives him this bishop c5 check ideas. So I can actually just stick to normal development. Once again, b3, bishop b2, and so on. Yeah, let's just stick to that. So the bishop on b7 looks very strange, but at some point, once again, he might come back to life after a timely c5, maybe d4. Once again, I don't think it was the right time to make such a move, but you can definitely say one good thing about black's position is the fact that it's rock solid, really. Very difficult to break this pawn structure. You know, black is castled. I can always push e5, that's always an option, but the problem is that whenever I do this, I kind of block my own vision of my bishop. Also, a move which always makes sense to me in this kind of structures is rook a to e1, which both might support an eventual pawn advance, but also create some ideas on the e file. It's a bit of a nifty move. I'm not sure about its objective power, but it has some good points. Let's try. I want to see how he reacts to such a move. So one tactical idea behind this move is that if he now plays his planned move c5, I can take on d5, and he cannot take back with the pawn, sorry, because the bishop would be hanging. So he plays d4, and I actually am quite happy to see this move, because it relieves the tension from the e4 pawn, which means that I can now basically move my knight into a better square. But I have a very tough choice. I can play knight a4, which might be a good square, controlling some squares on his position, or I can play actually the move which might look ugly, knight b1, with the idea to maneuver it back into the game like this. I kind of like this idea. Let's play knight b1. One step forward, one step backward, but then 2 steps forward. And knight on c4 will have a very strong outpost, I believe. Keeping some pressure on e5. Also impossible for him to chase away this piece. The only problem in this position for me is this bishop on b2, which is blocked off. So he plays bishop b4 just to pin my knight, which is I think a bit of an artificial way to deal with this, because I can just play a3, I think. And if he takes on d2, it will give me the 2 bishops advantage, which is nice to have. Or I can go super aggressive with the move f4, even though I feel like f4 is a bit premature at the moment. I feel like I need to prepare it for a bit longer. So let's try to relieve the tension. He will definitely take on d2, because if he plays any other move, then the move bishop b4 doesn't make any sense. So my knight wouldn't be able to reach c4, but now I think the pawn break f4 becomes even stronger than it was before, because I have the 2 bishops and I want to open up the game. Let's just go f4. I think all of my pieces are practically fully ready for such a pawn break. And I think now to take on f4 would be quite a critical mistake, because it would allow my pawn to have some options to advance. Yeah. He played queen e7. Actually, I thought he was going to play knight d7 in order to plant his knight there. Queen e7 is not as strong. I can take on e5 and followed by rook f5, I think. And this is actually very strong. I'm wondering whether he missed it. Even though I must say that he still have the option of playing knight d7 followed by knight takes e5. That's what he should do, because the queen on e5 is badly placed. Also, by the way, in general, the queen is a very bad blockader. It should not be placed in the center of the board like this. So definitely knight d7 should be the move. If he will play queen takes e5, I think I will just crush. I will just crush through with rook f5 followed by a timely e5. So he's taking his time to think, which is understandable because it's quite a critical moment. Even though I think knight d7 is almost forced, like it's the only move which gives him chances to withstand my attack. And my plan after knight d7 is to immediately go c3 with the intention to open up this bishop, which is caged at the moment. He played knight g4, which is basically the same idea. He wants to take on e5. Maybe knight g4 is even stronger actually than knight d7, because it also keeps the option of going knight d3. So c3 must be the move for me right now. That's the way I feel. Because I don't really have a way to preserve my e5 pawn. Let's do c3. So if he takes on c3, I'm very happy because I can reach capture with my queen, which also protects the e5 pawn, and this bishop will actually have a lot of potential on this diagonal. I think now he has 2 options, whether to take on e5 like planned, and if I take on d4 just to try to defend a position with the pawn down, but with some compensation, or to try to hold up to the d4 pawn, something like rook d8 or the other rook to d8, which is slightly risky because this pawn on d4 in some variations might be a very weak pawn. So if I was black and I would have to choose between these two options, probably rook d8. Yeah, it did this. Okay, so I don't see any reason not to take on d4. I don't think I gain anything from keeping the tension in the center. So now this is a very critical point in the game. His next move is knight takes e5, and he's going to establish a strong control there. Practically, it's maybe the last moment that I have to try and disturb this. It's actually quite difficult. So if I don't have a good way to break his defenses there, then black actually just have a fairly solid position. What about e6? Is that too crazy? So my idea with that move is actually to be able to push e5 on the next move, and by this stopping him from planting his knight there. I think it's a bit of a crazy move, but something tells me that I must try this. But the consequences of this move are very unclear, I must say. But that's the only way to fight for the initiative. It's a very difficult decision, because by playing e5 I also help his bishop to become active. I kind of feel like activating my own bishops is kind of a bigger priority. Let's try. It's a fast time control game. You can also take with the pawn, by the way, on e6, but then once again I still have this e5 move. The only thing I forgot about that he can still go to e3 at the proper moment. I'm wondering if he will do. So e5 is the planned move, which I really have to do, otherwise my last move is not making too much sense. Or I can also start with bishop c4, kind of see where his queen is going, then playing e5. Do I gain something by doing that? This position is very tough for me. Tough for me in terms of understanding what's going on, I have to say. Let's try bishop c4, kind of seeing where the queen will go, and then decide what to do. It might backfire, because at some point this knight e3 move could be extremely awkward for me. Was yeah, so after bishop c4 I think he would probably go something like problem with queen e5, that's threatening checkmate, but it's stepping into this diagonal of the bishop, which means that he might have some tactical problems regarding this diagonal. So he's taking some time to think here, which is a good thing for me, because it means that he's kind of uncertain of what to do. So if he would play queen d6, which is perhaps the most logical move that he has, which is also threatening checkmate, but without stepping into this diagonal, then I feel like I would already must play e5, like I have planned to play. But once again, I must stress that the consequences of this move are really unclear at this point. He's taking a lot of time to think. I'm quite surprised. I feel like for black, it doesn't. There is no huge difference between all of those different moves. Actually, kind of thinking in retrospect, I feel like somewhere around here I might have had a better move than just going a3. I should have probably gone f4 immediately, but I'll focus that after the game. So he's thinking for like about 2.5 minutes for his move right now, which definitely is it's a good sign. Can also go queen g6, but the drawback of that move. Okay, queen e5 was played. We are happy, right? So checkmated is threatened, but there is no knight e3. So what if I just go rook f4, blocking the checkmate while attacking his knight? Seems fairly good. I don't want to go queen f4 because then you can exchange queens and go once again knight d3, but this actually looks pretty good. Let's do this. So this tempo against his knight might help me to bring my rook on f1 on the next move, and actually this pawn on f7 start being a very relevant target for me. And if he plays knight e3, I have this cute tactic, queen takes knight, followed by bishop takes e5. He plays queen h5. Very reasonable move. Yeah, and he will... Wait a second. If I play h3 and he plays knight e5, don't I have rook f5? I don't know, but I feel I have to play e3 anyways. I don't really have more options. So big choice for him right now, whether to go on e3 or e5, or even f6 is an option. Even though if he goes on f6, I'm very likely to sacrifice my my exchange there. Knight e5, so he reached this strong blockade that he was hoping for. And this move would be amazingly strong, just a fork, but he has the intermediate capture on c4, which ruins a bit my plans. It's still good though. I feel like anyways I have to play this move because I have to fight against this knight. This knight will just destroy all of my chances to attack in this game. He will take my good bishop on c4 though. That's a bit sad. So I don't know why he's taking his time to think. Knight takes c4 is strictly a forced move. And then after taking you will have queen g6. Yeah, so take on c4. Queen g6 is now probably going to happen. Position is very double-edged, I have to say. On one hand, you know, I have a lot of pawn islands, so from structural point of view, black is better. But I have a big question right now whether I can take on d5 or not. Because if I can, this bishop might spring life, kind of, but it's also walking into a pin. So after bishop takes d4, he can play maybe queen d6 and kind of make my dreams impossible. Tough game we have today. Should I play rook g5? It's very depressing because if this bishop would be more active than it is currently, than it currently is, I would have a very serious attack with rook g5, attacking the g7 square. But without this bishop, my attack is a bit empty, a bit pointless. I still will play rook g5 though. I kind of want to see how he reacts. Because if he plays a move like queen e6, then I might take on d4 just because it's a tempo against this pawn. Queen c6. I think this move is, I don't know if it's a mistake, but I am allowed now. I'm giving the opportunity to take on d4, which I feel like I should take. I don't think such chances. Okay, he offers a draw. Objectively, probably I have no advantage, but let's try fighting on. This is just an educational game for the viewers. Worst case, I will lose. You know, that stuff happen. The important thing is to have a good game. So f6, I think, is now a forced move. But thanks to the queen being on c6, the bishop has been blocked. So I can post my rook on d5, actually. Or I can, oh no, I cannot play rook c5. Tough position. So let's do this. He will take on c4, and I'm really counting on this intermediate move rook c1 to save the day for me, because otherwise this rook is badly hanging there. I've obviously taken a lot of risks when declining the draw, because objectively I have no advantage, and actually it might be just that black is better. Actually, he has the more active bishop, the better this pawn on a2 is isolated. But now I have this little detail. I have this check on a2, which I was hoping that this check will save the day for me, because now I can unpin myself. Then I also have this tempo on the next move with bishop b6 to step away from this attack. Oh, but he have bishop d5. I think he missed that move. That might have been a good move. I feel like now white is kind of okay, because on the next move I have very serious counterplay with my pieces start crawling into the 7th rank. Whoa, where did this came from? Yeah, I forgot about this check. It's an annoying check. So king h2 I lose because of queen d6. I have to go king f2. Now he can take on e4, and I think he should. I don't see a good reason why this is not working. Actually, he might be scared away by the fact that, yeah, the back rank is a bit weak. No time. Okay, let's just play this, I guess. I played this move with 0.1 seconds on the clock. That was remind me not to do that again. It should be a draw now though. He will win a pawn, but it's opposite color bishop. Yeah, it's not so easy to make a draw, but I feel like I should be fine. Yeah, so as mentioned, playing for the win might backfire. Now I can try to force the draw with this kind of move. It's probably not going to work. I need to make a move I really don't want to do. Yeah, and actually now probably I'm in a losing position now that I was forced to make that move. Yeah, so he's threatening checkmate. I have to go there. Oh, he offers a draw. Well, I don't know why he offered the draw. Actually, I think the final position black can at least try to play on. The engine says minus 1.5. Probably he was a bit excited about drawing this game. Yeah, but he played not at all badly. I think this is a very critical point. A3. The engine says it's an equal position suddenly. As mentioned, I think, yeah, f4 I have to try. Now it says pawn takes f4, even though I would say that's not a very good move because it allows me to push e5 at some point. I think after f4 I should play knight e7. And here, yeah, the engine still says it's only marginally better for white. Very interesting. I thought the move d4 was not the best. At least it's a move which is considered to be kind of a move that black doesn't supposed to do that easily. Yes, yeah, so the engine finds this c3 move. I'll turn down the engine because it makes a lot of noise. Yeah, but that's a subtlety which is kind of difficult to understand because the move knight d2 followed by knight c4 is so natural, so you really just want to do this without too much thinking. Yeah, and I feel like the rest of the game black never was in any serious danger. He always kept his position very solid. Yeah, I must say good game by the opponent. He deserved this draw, probably even more actually by the end of the game. And yeah, we had some interesting Sicilian battle here. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye guys.